Hey there, folks. Welcome to Advisory. I hope you are all doing so well. Today's video is going to be a continuation of the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Although instead of asking that question, we are going to ask, who do you want to be when you grow up? And kind of think about those two things separately. Two questions. What do you want to be when you grow up? And who do you want to be when you grow up? Now, we get this question all the time, right? We've gotten this question since we were really little kids, and we had all sorts of fantastical answers. And we're going to talk more about careers and what sort of things we can look forward to, what sort of things are out there based on our interests. And while I think that it is important to think about what you want to be when you grow up and plan for the future, I think it is infinitely more important to consider who you want to be when you grow up. Because the what you do as far as a job will almost always change and hardly ever be what you thought you might get into starting out. For instance, before I made Advisory and became a
massive YouTube star.
I did all sorts of things. I worked at Jack in the Box for my first job.
Do not ask me what goes in the tacos. You don't want to know.
I built fence. I was a guide at the Fort Worth Zoo for a bunch of kid day camps, and we went around the zoo and looked at animals and got to teach them cool stuff about animals. I was an English teacher in middle school and high school for many years. And while all of that was super important and is super important to me as a person, it's not nearly as important as the question of who am I? What kind of person am I? Because in order to answer who do I want to become, you have to first think about who you are right now. What kind of person am I? What makes me me? This question has been plaguing philosophers and thinkers for centuries, and it probably will never get answered. So really what that means is that we have to answer this question for ourselves. And this leads me to this concept of personal identity. This is defined as the concept that you develop about yourself that evolves over the course of your life. And this whole evolves part is really tough for some people to understand. A lot of folks say, hey man, never change.
Hey man, whatever you do, never change.
Always stay the same.
Which is not good for anybody. Of course, who you are can change over time. Many of you met me when I looked like this, when my hair was this long, and I was making all these videos, and that is who you knew Mr. Hall to be. And when I cut my hair, people said, I don't even know who you are anymore.
Who are you and what have you done with Mr. Hall?
Did my hair define who I was? No, but was it a part of how people knew me and how I saw myself? Yes. Like, what kind of person was I when I was born and a young child, when I hardly knew anything and I was completely reliant on my environment to shape who I was? And how did that change and grow as I grew up and went to high school and graduated? And how does that compare to me now? Technically, all three of these people are the same guy, and yet I have changed drastically. Not only have I grown up physically, but I've learned more, I've had more experiences, my beliefs have changed, my thoughts have changed, how I think has changed. So really figuring out who you are and answering this question, who am I, is a question that has to be answered throughout your life multiple times. You are going to change over time. And so how do we answer this question, who am I, while all those changes are going on? When it comes to answering that question, these are some of the factors that make up your personal identity. These are not all of them, but there are a few. Your personal identity comes from your habits, it comes from your values, the experiences that you have, the beliefs that you hold, the emotions that you feel. The physical features, while not the most important, still play a role in how we view ourselves and how others view us. Your interests, your goals, the culture that you grew up in, the dreams that you have, the talents that you have, your personality that of course develops and changes over time, and your environment that also changes and develops over time. All of these things come together to make you who you are. And today, for the rest of Advisory, you're going to spend some time thinking about these questions and reflecting on them yourself. And these are the questions that I want you to consider as you're doing this reflection. And this is going to be a silent reflection for a little bit. My suggested time is about 10 minutes of silent writing time on these prompts. And you can do this in a journal or on a piece of paper, or you can go to the bit.ly link there and do this on a digital document if you have access to computers. But I want you to spend some silent writing time thinking about these things and reflecting on these things for yourself. Number one, who are the people in your life that have had the most influence on you and why? Number 2, what are some of your most important memories? Oftentimes, our memories have a big role to play in who we are and who we become. 3, what are your best qualities? What are the things that you like about yourself? 4, what is one way you would like to grow as a person? What is something that you want to strive towards as a person? And then 5 is the classic question, who do you want to be when you grow up? And I want you to think about that from whatever angle you want. What kind of friend do you want to be? What kind of maybe spouse or parent do you want to be someday? What kind of individual do you want to continue to become? And while all these questions right here are private reflections, I do want you to leave a little bit of time at the end for the discussion question, which is, what are some of the qualities of the people that you admire, look up to, or enjoy being around? You don't necessarily have to name names or say who they are, but what are the qualities of that person that you admire, that you look up to? What are they like, and what is so admirable about them? And what about their life do you maybe want to emulate in your own life? But that is all from me. Enjoy that reflection and discussion. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Be good to yourself and others, and I will see you real soon.